It's funny because when we were testing earlier, I was like, he was like, that's really loud, right? I said, well, I think I might be a little hard of hearing because. Welcome to Shift Chats, Conversations with Ryan. Okay, so you had made a comment about sitting with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to just talk a little bit more about that because I think it's so important. As part of Shift Chats is the journey of wellness and healing.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if people really understand what that looks like, what that is. So if you don't mind, kind of walking us through a little bit of that, I think it would be helpful.
Yeah. So when I need to take a sit down with myself, it's usually because I'm judging myself, or maybe I am feeling unmotivated, or I'm just feeling down and maybe I can't figure out what it is. So that sit down is me, okay, checking in, like, okay, you feel this way. What's going on?
Right.
Sometimes it's easy to pinpoint what's going on, sometimes it's not. And so then that sit down will look different. So if I can't figure out what's going on, that's when I tap into my hobbies.
Okay.
Just by myself. It could be coloring, it could be in the garden, but it's something that I'm doing for myself to help kind of clear my mind to figure out what's going on.
Right.
Now, if I'm like, okay, you were scrolling on social media and something triggered you, then that's when I can kind of work through that also. Is it true? Do you really feel that way?
Right.
Are these lies you're telling yourself?
Ooh.
And so that's what that sit down looks like. And sometimes that sit down is going to the gym and just really burning some.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
It's
I
energy.
love that.
It's like built up energy that you just gotta
release. Yeah, I love that. I love that you brought up coloring. Because I think, again, I have to go back to inner child and kind of like you say, hobbies, play. Like, we have to go back to things that made us feel good when we were younger. And this isn't going to be a chat about inner child healing because that's like a series, like, that's a whole nother thing. But I feel like we can touch on a couple things to, kind of make some points. And so I literally have a coloring book and crayons.
Me
like
too.
in the, but it's not something that like when I'm sharing and, doing content, I'm not like, but I think that's probably something that I should share is that I will sit down with like a kid's coloring book, like not a, like they have some adult coloring books, but no, I want like Barbie or, the Three Musketeers or whoever, to actually, get into coloring. And sometimes I stay in the lines and sometimes I don't.
Yep. Most of the time I don't.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm not the best at it, but it's fun.
Why we gotta stay in the line?
I don't know who made that rule up.
So I love that. Coloring. I also feel like you said, going to the gym is a big one. For me, I like taking a good walk. Like near where I live, there's this pond and I can, go, and usually it's quiet. Sometimes there's, a lot of busyness going on, but for the most part, just being in nature.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. Is a healer.
It is.
In itself.
Big time. Yeah.
Wow.
Water. Being by water.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
So sitting with self, I feel like that's a whole like.
Have a little sit down. Be like, self.
Right. So then you said like you might be, because I don't think people are in tune enough to know like you watching something on social media could be a trigger, which sends you into a spiral of I'm not good enough. Why isn't my stuff like this? The comparison mode, which we touched on a little bit. And then like, how do you get out of that once you know what I'm saying?
So I have an example.
Great.
Something it just happened last week.
Okay.
So my girlfriend, she was sending me videos of this girl's plants. You know, she does plant on TikTok. She has like a plant account. She's
Okay.
plants everywhere. Beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous. And my girlfriend's like, I just love her. And, you know, and I'm seeing her plants and got triggered. Because before I moved to Houston, I had a living room just like that, right? And the reason why it triggered me so much is because I moved to Houston coming out of an abusive relationship.
Okay.
And
Thank
I
you
left
sharing that.
and I left so much behind.
Okay.
Furniture, plants, my dog.
Oh, we twins, honey. That was my life.
I had
go
to
ahead.
I had to run. I had to get out of there.
Okay.
And I got the job at, you know, where I'm at now, and it was almost like God said, "You're not gonna do it, so let me pluck you out of there." And so I accepted the job, but I had to leave everything. It was so bad that the apartment complex, I'd let them know, "Hey, I'm trying to go back and get my things, but that person is still there, and this and that." And they didn't give me an eviction or anything. They said, "Baby, go."
Beautiful.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
So that's how bad it was. But her beautiful living room and all of her plants, it made me sad. I was like, oh man, I could have that, you know? I could have had that. So I was triggered. I was feeling really down that day. And I realized that one, it was comparison, right? I could have had, and then I'm tapping back into what I went through and how I left, and that anger is coming back up. And I think that these are all things that happen. You know, it doesn't matter how healed we think we are. These things come up, you know, and it's okay. So I had to give myself grace.
Right.
And get my ass off of social media. But it helped me realize that, because I kind of stopped planting. I wasn't doing as much. I have a garden right now, but it's just not as much, right? And I'm like, you know what? It's okay for me to bring this hobby back up more than ever, like how it was in Corpus. You know, I stopped a little bit, but I'm like, you know what? I can. So it really just kind of motivated me. So I felt triggered.
Right.
And then I'm like, you know what? No, we're going to let this motivate. Let it be a motivator and not a trigger.
Right. And I love that, because you used it and you kind of flipped it instead of, because we could go down the rabbit hole. So instead of doing that, you used it to find all of the goodness that you got from that. Right. Because it was only the experience that you were matching it to that made it like, I'm not going to do this. But now that you're like, oh no, this is something that I enjoyed and something that I can still
do it.
I love that.
That was the I can still do this.
Like, yeah.
Why am I mad?
Right.
I can still.
Yeah.
No problem.
Right. And I've seen your little plants and stuff out all around everywhere. So
and it's funny because I have quite a bit.
Yes.
And I was still upset. I was
right.
like, I could have had a jungle too.
And you really do have a jungle. But that's what we do.
Yeah.
I mean, to the point, you know, we get into our heads about these things when really, like, we're already, you know, having those things. So you mentioned your girlfriend. So I have to ask about that journey, because I know you have a daughter. So tell me whatever you want to share about like that experience, and because I know we're around, or I think Pride Month will have passed.
Yeah, it's Pride Month.
Yeah.
So she'll be 15 in July. It's so funny. She asked me a few weeks ago, Mommy, did you know that you were gay when you married my dad? I said, yeah.
Okay.
She said, well, why'd you? I said, because I was trying to make everyone else happy, you know? And she's like, oh, okay. And then that was that, you know? And I hope that's a lesson to her, you know, don't do things to make me happy.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, so I was married to her dad. We weren't married long, divorced. Then I knew that my parents don't even know this. When I was younger, I didn't believe in coming out.
Okay.
And even as a little girl, or in middle school, coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Why do I have to come out?
Okay.
Do straight people come out?
Right.
Like,
This is just who I am.
This is just, yeah. And it was never a big deal to me. But in high school, I had a girlfriend. My parents found out about it. They kind of got upset. So I just said, you know what? I'm not going to do this because I don't want to disappoint them. So I just kind of went back into the closet. And then when I was on my own and doing my own thing, then I had my relationships, and that's how I kept it. But my mom quickly, I think she realized that, she had posted something about Whitney Houston and Whitney Houston's relationship with.
Okay.
And that kind of made me feel like, oh, okay, my mom is okay with it.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so
and so did that make you feel better, like officially being like you're saying you don't have to come out, but did that make you feel officially better, like mom gets it, so now I can?
Yeah. And it's funny because every time I say out loud that I am a lesbian or whatever, it's almost like I'm healing my inner child.
Yes.
Because I could never really say it.
Right.
I just whatever.
And so what do you think that was? Do you feel like because it wasn't society like accepted in your time, or what do you feel like that was and not like actually saying it?
I think I grew up in a Christian household. Mm-hmm. I was always an athlete and stuff, but very much a tomboy. And I think that sometimes when I was too much, maybe I was presenting too masculine, it made my parents uncomfortable. I used to play basketball and I used to kind of sag. My parents hated that. So it's just those little things like, oh, okay, they don't like that, right? And then I got into high school and I had a girlfriend, and it worried them more than anything. And I'm like, well, I don't want to worry them, so, and it's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
So.
And it's tough because I have to share, I have my, one of my sons, kind of questions, what he has going on. And early on, in his younger life, we definitely were trying to protect him. We thought, right? So like, don't, out in the world, right? Because we were so worried about like him being bullied and being teased and, even, and I know some people will think like, well, you're a therapist, you should. It's so different. Like when you're in it, and having to be able to, so I felt like our way of handling it was like, we're just not going to talk about it. You're not out in public, right? And then, obviously when he got older and we're having these conversations, it's like, you can be whoever and whatever you choose, right? Keep yourself safe, and he's continued to, educate us on those, kind of like the understanding of it all.
That's good. Yeah.
But it was like, I hear you saying like from when your mom was like posting the Whitney Houston thing. And it was funny because we said like, we kind of knew, like, and I think parents know, like, I don't know what that is, but you kind of just know. And it was just like, but how do you like nurture and support your child through that, which is a whole nother.
It's a whole nother conversation. Yeah. I think just letting them talk about it, giving them a safe place to talk about it. Because I never felt like I could talk about it ever. And when my parents found out about my high school girlfriend, then they had the conversation with me about, I don't know if I can say it.
You can say it.
SA, sexual assault. I don't know, maybe they thought that I was, it wasn't me, that
like
I was
you didn't
being
choose it.
Okay.
Okay.
And I'm looking at them
or
like,
you can't choose it. Let me correct that. But
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I think they thought that I was being forced to. I'm like, what?
Like, no, I love her.
What? So it was such an awkward, weird time that I guess you can say I went back into the closet. I was like, I don't want to deal with this. But, as I got older as an adult, did I have like relations? And with women, yeah, because this is who I am.
Okay.
Did my parents know about it? No.
Okay.
Y'all know now.
Right.
You're gonna watch this.
You're gonna watch this.
No, but
live.
they, they're very aware of my last relationship and my current, and they, I posted about it. My mom follows me on all of my social media
Okay.
accounts, so we have a good relationship. They understand, but growing up, not so much.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you feel like now going back to putting it with like content creating, and so how do you feel about that and connecting those two? Do you feel like it's something like you have to, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because we talk about 9 to 5 and how to kind of separate but not, and you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you
That's a good question.
navigate those?
So I treat it very similar to my 9 to 5. I'm a nutritionist by trade. That is not my identity. I have a girlfriend. I like women, but that's not my identity. And I think that's why that coming out was strange to me.
Right.
Because
It's like, what they got to do with the tea in China?
Right. Baby, who I eat ain't none of y'all
Right.
business. Ain't none of y'all business.
Okay.
So, and I mean, yes, I'm in the community and I love the community. I go monthly, I go to a lesbian day party. And
Okay.
and it's a blast.
Yeah, I've seen you post about that, and I'm like, that looks fun. Even though I wonder, can I go to the
Yes,
party?
you can go. Yes, you can go.
'Cause
It's a
looks like
blast.
they having a good time.
It's a blast. We have so much fun, and I love it because I get to network, and I'm meeting, lesbian, queer people that are in. They do everything.
Right.
They own their own boutiques, and it's just such a great. I just love it. I love it. But it's not my identity.
Right.
So no, you're not going to see me with the flag and all the stuff. No.
Okay.
But I love my people.
Right. I love that. And I love that you don't, like, I feel like you don't have to decide. Like, you can just live. Like you're saying, that is not who you are. That is a part of you, but that does not define Ryan Juicy Rye. I love it. Yes. Yes. Okay. I'm thinking about social media, because I don't think we really kind of got into the nuts and bolts of, because you do have, what do they call it? Like you get funds, like
like the brand deals.
you get brand deals.
Yeah.
And so tell us a little bit about some of your brand deals and like how that works. And
Yeah, it's fun. So I have a deal with Firmu, the glasses.
okay.
I was trying to get one with Zulu, but they didn't.
Okay.
And also with a oral care company, and then a Proscenic, which is a vacuum.
Okay.
They have like different vacuums and things. And the other things that I do is they're not really brand deals. There's just, you can apply and get free stuff.
Okay.
And then you can review it.
Got it.
And you commission off of it.
Okay.
So there's a difference. You have like partnerships, and then you have collaborations. I think collaborations are more like, hey, they'll email me and be like, hey, we like what you're doing. We have this product. Can we send it to you? You'll get 15% commission.
Okay.
And if I like it, depending on, I'll accept it. But then the partnerships are more like, you have a code, they use your code, or you get paid a flat rate. And
Okay.
You do like so much for them, things like that. I want a partnership with HEB.
Okay.
HEB.
Put it in the universe. Who we need to talk to get your partnership. Right. Yes.
Charcuterie. I'm a nutritionist.
Right.
I love HEB.
Okay.
The way I love HEB. I mean, they just make my life easy,
Yeah.
And they have everything you need.
Right. It is. It's like, I was telling my daughter, because she lives in Dallas, and I was like, I love HEB because you really can like get whatever you need. Like, I saw your post where you talked about the charcuterie, and like you can just put the whole thing together. Like, they have it all cut up and chopped and everything
it's
for you.
prepped for you.
It's,
Yep.
so, and it's so big. Like, they have so much stuff, but that's a whole nother HEB. Ryan wants to work with you.
Yes, please. Please, please, please.
Let's get that deal together, Lord. Thank you, Jesus.
Yes.
We appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
So are there any things that you're open to sharing for the viewers that are watching about like getting started, or like how do you, because I heard you say like they have sent you emails, like how do you get a brand deal,
Yeah.
or
So I'm still a baby at this.
okay.
But what I know is one, TikTok has the TikTok shop stuff. And you can actually, they will give you money to purchase things on TikTok shop to review.
Okay.
I feel like it's good practice for big brand deals.
Okay.
Exercising your creativity, finding a way, because people are really sick and tired of TikTok shop. So
Okay.
they're like, oh, they're always selling me something. But it's just like watching TV and the ads and the commercials. What's the difference?
Yeah.
Except
And
that
we buying it all because I got a couple TikTok shop items.
okay. It's the same, it's the same thing. It's just that it's your favorite content creator actually talking about their experience, which in my opinion makes it more valuable.
Right.
So I think TikTok shop is a great place to start. Also, like for me, I do shop a lot at HEB. So I will, when I'm doing cooking stuff, I'll tag them.
Okay.
I think that's another good way to kind of get their attention. But a lot of these big brands, they have like a social media or marketing department. So you would just reach out to them.
Okay.
And be like, you would have a pitch. And actually YouTube, if you get on YouTube, they'll have a lot of
Okay.
ways that you can kind of pitch
Right.
your sometimes they want to see your analytics. So I think a good way to start, if you don't have a huge following, or because I don't have a big following, but if you don't have a big following, if your views and things are kind of low.
Well, wait a minute. Let me just. What's not a big following, dear? Because
Well,
you got thousands of. I mean, I know
on
it's like
TikTok.
hundreds of thousands, but you have thousands of. So let's not minimize
You're right.
your work and
You're
your.
right. You're right.
Ma'am.
You're right. I'm working on that 20K though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, y'all hear that? She working on 20.
I'm working on.
I'm working on 1,000. So,
but on
here
Instagram, my following is a lot smaller. But I just started that account. So
okay.
we're getting there. But but practice, like the things that you love to buy or you use a lot at home. It could be makeup. It could be anything. Just practice making content with it.
Right.
And don't really sell it to people, but just a really creative way to show this thing that you got.
I'm always like, this is like when I do a face one, I'm always like, this is what I like. I'm not saying y'all got to find what products are good for you. Exactly. Which is important, especially for skin.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I think that we have done our due diligence here. Well, maybe we should talk about, because you have shared some of your skin tips. So because we're talking about content, so share a little bit about that journey and kind of what.
So I had acne really bad. It was so weird. I turned 35.
Okay.
It was just maybe 3-4 years ago. It was in my later 30s. I all of a sudden got adult acne. And I'm like, what's going on? I was in a weird relationship. I do think that those things present, stress and stuff.
So, now, that's a whole nother, we can dip into that real quick if you want, about.
Yeah, I do think that stress and that trauma in your body will manifest in different ways. If it's not acne, it's gut issues. It's, you have to take care of your mind and your body.
Yes.
But after I left, the acne still kind of lingered, and just, my skin just wasn't giving. Okay. I'm like, I needed to give. So, I've been using the Korean skincare.
Okay. Which is really popular now. Different kinds.
It's so good. I like the Mixsoon, and I've been using Saturday Skin. And actually, they both send me products. So
nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't really call it a brand deal, but I get the product and I'll talk about it and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how does that work if they just send you stuff but it's not a brand deal because they want you to talk about it? Is that for free kind of?
Kind of.
What are y'all doing?
So like what one of them will do is they'll send, I think I'm on like a mailing list at this point. Yeah. And so sometimes I'll get things and I don't know about it, or I'll get an email and they'll be like, hey, we want to send you this stuff. You're not obligated to review it, but if you really like it, you know. And so sometimes this is what I've been doing because I've made thousands of dollars for other companies with like the teeth whitening and that vacuum. And I'm like, you know what? I'm in the big leagues.
Right.
Come correct.
Yes.
So sometimes when they send me that stuff, I'll be like, hey, let's, I kind of negotiate, right? Negotiate a price. I would love to. I can do, this is my flat rate.
Okay.
This much goes for ads, whatever. And I just kind of will negotiate it. So right now I am negotiating something with a brand. I can't remember what brand it is at this point. But yeah, you can, if they really like you, if they're reaching out to you at that point.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that for you.
Thank you.
I'm so excited.
It is.
And we'll have a other consultation about making the transition, or should I say the shift.
Yes. Shift me.